Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Nilesh. I head marketing at Customer Success Box. Welcome you all to your webinar on open success, customer success in the world's largest open source organization. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you all that we're recording this webinar. And yes, you will receive a link within 24 hours of the webinar for sure. And you're welcome to send your questions throughout the webinar via the Q&A box, or you can give them in the chat as well. We'll try to answer as many of them as possible. Now I'm pleased to introduce to you our speaker, Hope Blaythorne. Hope has been focused on a customer-centric approach across the enterprise to help define a strategy to constantly improve customer engagement and success. And she currently serves as a Customer Success Evangelist at Red Hat. What does a Customer Success Evangelist do? I think Hope will be speaking about it as part of her presentation. But what she does really right now is she's evolving a success team to improve operations and efficiencies to both internal and external customers aligned to customers' outcomes based out of Red Hat's open decision culture. Evangelizing a customer-centric mindset throughout Red Hat, Hope has been leveraging the Red Hat culture of open success approach to collaborate with customers and is executing a program to drive product adoption by about 15%, while guiding a longer-term strategy across Red Hat to increase renewals by 30%. Prior to joining Red Hat, Hope served in several customer-centric leadership roles at IBM, as well as sales roles at the SAS Institute and Oracle. She's an expert in engaging across many teams, identifying issues and translating complex processes into clear, understandable, and actionable steps. So ask as many questions as you want. We have someone with a lot of experience across both enterprise as well as open source. And now coming to our moderator, the webinar will be moderated by Puneet Kataria. In his previous avatar, he was VP at a B2B SaaS company, Kayako, where he inherited 10,000 plus live accounts and was tasked to plug the leaky bucket. 5 years later, that is translated into an obsession to fix the leak for every B2B SaaS business. And hence he started Customer Success Box, where he leads as a founder and CEO. In over 16 years of professional experience, Puneet has also held leadership positions at ThoughtWorks, IBM, Telelogic, and he started his career as an engineer at Honeywell Aerospace. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Hope and Puneet.
Thank you so much, Nilesh. Hope, first of all, thank you so much, for agreeing to do this knowledge sharing and giving us insights on customer success. And those of you who are attending, I will also be plugged into your comments and any questions, and I'll try to keep it as interactive as I can. And I invite you all to also participate and keep this very engaging. Hope, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, and guess what? We are all customer success, because if I am one of the evangelists for the world's largest open source organization, and I'm talking about open success, then I'm doing that with the knowledge that we all need to be involved in that, because really we're building that community, aren't we? That success community. But let me start by sharing my screen and sharing my slides. How's that? Can you see it?
Yes, we're live. We can see a slide.
Yay! Awesome. So thank you, Customer Success Box, for hosting this session and helping us to share these best practices within the customer success world and beyond. I am Hope Blaythorne, the Customer Success Evangelist from Red Hat, which I must say might be a great place to start. What on earth is a Customer Success Evangelist? So I get asked that a lot, I must say. It's actually a newer role within Red Hat. My mission is to drive an alignment across Red Hat business units, sales, services, support, training, and more, to advocate on behalf of our customers so that our operations and our processes are aligned to create the the best experience for our customers using Red Hat solutions. I support a cross-collaborative Red Hat success community that we call WAX. How's that for an acronym? What it is we are all customer success as we align across all of Red Hat to make sure our team's goals and our strategies are aligned to the customer's journey. So we deliver on our promise to our customers to enable them to leverage the open source technologies to consume within their organizations. So that's our definition of what a customer success evangelist does in Red Hat. I'm really more internal per se, but I really do love the opportunity to speak externally as well. Today, what we wanted to cover is giving you more of a background around who is this crazy Red Hat company? What is this open source innovation everyone keeps talking about? What is specifically open customer success? And how does Red Hat specifically deliver on open success? So let's start with the beginning, right? Our evolution. This is Red Hat. This is what we do. For more than 2 decades, we've had a spark of an idea, a vision for developing software differently, right? We believe collaborating with an ecosystem of IT leaders, open source advocates, developers, and partners would lead to a better foundation for the future of our Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So it started here in that operating system, but that was just the beginning. Today, Red Hat delivers a comprehensive portfolio, as you see here, of products and services using that same open, collaborative business model within an affordable, predictable subscription for our customers. As you can see here, we are now the world's leading provider of open source enterprise IT solutions. This more than 90% stat is really powerful for the folks at Red Hat, especially anybody that's been here for more than 10 years, because they used to tease us and say, you give away your software? How on earth are you ever going to make money? But we are that crazy company that gave away our software. We still do, because anyone can download it today. We earn revenue by our customers for paying for the services to implement the solutions and the valuable subscription so they can have access to the most robust open source community in the world that creates, supports, and scales these solutions, providing our customers with security, governance, and updates along the path. We've got over 12,000 employees right now. We're across 35 countries. We're a large-scale innovator of the open source technologies. And recently, if you haven't heard, IBM announced that they're acquiring Red Hat for $34 billion. Think about that one, right? If we're looking for validation, nothing's more than $34 billion of validation. But really, their goal is to maintain us in a distinct business unit due to the open source community and our culture. Even Ginny Rometty stated that the acquisition of Red Hat is a game changer for them. It changes everything about the cloud market, with IBM becoming the world's #1 hybrid cloud provider, offering companies the only open cloud solution that'll unlock the full value of the cloud for their business.
No,
but how did we get here? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just commenting. Yes, I mean, like for an open source business, but where everything is going to depend on customer success, that's the best validation for the customer success model itself. Yeah, back to you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem. No, absolutely. We're pretty ecstatic from that validation, but we're cautious about what this means moving forward. And I came from IBM. But in any event, this is how we got there. We were founded over 20 years ago, and this shows how we've made these various acquisitions. But think about it from this perspective. We've acquired numerous companies that have helped us broaden our portfolio. Then a lot of them, JBoss, for example, we have open sourced their technologies. the minute we acquire these organizations, we open up their technology. That has allowed us to have more of that innovative open source community to participate. The other difference we have at Red Hat is we've made these acquisitions based on our customers' feedback saying, boy, we wish you were in middleware. Wow, it would be awesome if you were in this and automation. We've grown based on what the community has asked for us to do. And our financial growth has been organic, meaning our business is growing naturally rather than because we're buying customers through these acquisitions. Big difference. So this just gives you an idea of how we got to where we are now with such a broad product offering.
So Hope,
which leads to this, right? Go ahead.
So Hope, on your last slide, so you were mentioning that customer success advocate evangelist is a new role.
Yes.
Red Hat has been an open source leader for the last 2 decades, like you mentioned. Where exactly do you think the customer success started coming in as a unique standout role? Because you were always into customer experience, customer engagement. That without that, an open source business will never make money. So at exactly when do you think that customer success engine started to kick in?
Perfect question. Thank you. You know what? Great question, because here's the deal. We didn't really have what we call a traditional customer success program, say 8 years ago. We called them support relationship managers. And I'll get a little deeper on this as we go in to look at our subscription model, which is so different than many organizations. So we had a flavor of this, but it aligned to more about how we could drive their engagement using their subscription. So it was called a support relationship manager. Then about 4 years ago, we transitioned support relationship managers to be customer success managers. But it was really just a gentle transition. We looked at a high touch, low touch model, and we put that in place. Over the last 24 months, we've been putting in a higher level strategy covering all of our strategic accounts and some of our named enterprise accounts that are more of this open source version, if you would. But we could never ever get away from who we were because of how we are aligned within the organization. But you're right, we started out as support relationship managers. I even still trip over that name. It started out of our support organization. We now have a separate global customer success organization within products and technologies. But it is fascinating when you think about how companies evolve their customer success teams and where they start, right?
No, completely. And Hope, I'll let you sort of go with the flow, and you can address what was traditional in that and what is new in the success. But one question if you can address now is like, what was the trigger? Why did you move away from the support relationship manager into the success? What happened for you to do this? Go ahead.
Great question. And I'm even trying to peek in my own deck because it goes to we entered into more emerging technologies, and that was the trigger. And that was that one slide that I showed you before. I'll get to that in this deck. Our product offerings, just like this, how we got there, think about it. We started out being completely Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Middleware came around 2006. Virtualization came around 2009, and that's when the support relationship manager role started. And that's where we realized our customers needed more support in these higher level emerging technologies. When the cloud came in is when customer success came to fruition. So it's interesting that you ask at this slide because it's aligned to how we have grown our technology offerings and what the needs have been from our managers. Because think about it, an architect that's using Red Hat Enterprise Linux has different needs than a or a development team that's on cloud forms, or a marketing team that's looking to put their applications out into the cloud as well. And that's how we've evolved our customer success team as our product offerings have also evolved.
Interesting. So you basically, and I'm correct me if I'm not reading it right, but what I'm hearing is basically on one end the customer that you were serving changed from a developer to a team to an architect who's putting applications in place to a business that you're serving, and then you moved from customer. First, you brought in the customer support relationship manager, and then you eventually got onto customer success. Wow, this is great.
It's a fascinating evolution because we typically dealt with Red Hat Enterprise Linux architects, the sysadmins. That was a different population. Virtualization took us to another population. The cloud has taken us to another place in the business within our customers. So it's almost kind of like where our customers go, so do we. You know what I mean? From a CSM perspective. And we're still looking at that. How do we follow our customer as we adapt and we're flexible enough to adjust to the way that they are using Red Hat? And that's why now it's going into the business units. It's going into marketing, HR, even finance, right? Everyone's using the cloud. So it's really, we're constantly enabling our team, and we're constantly scaling up our team to be able to really adjust to the demands that our customers bring back to us.
Got it. And I'm just so curious to ask one more question on the same lines.
Sure.
A lot of our audience is, they have mix of products. So the people listening to the webinar can have a very technical product which is built specifically for developers, like some of your original when you were serving the developers, and you continue to obviously be a technology platform. But now you're serving more businesses, and similarly, lots of our listeners currently have products which are serving businesses. So do you think developers are more sort of capable of helping themselves self-serving and require less hand-holding, less human intervention, versus a business which requires more hand-holding, more guidance? Or they're pretty much equal, it's just the complexity which sort of changed of the organization? Is it the developer versus the business world, or something else?
Yes and no. If you're familiar with the developer world, they are very much self-service. The interesting piece we have at Red Hat is, again, we kind of tend to be the land of the geeks, which is actually a good thing. So they want to be in that land. I don't blame them. So we tend to be conduits for them to get to the people that want to talk about containers and Kubernetes. But I tell you what, to your point, if we push that out to them, if you're familiar with developers, it is very much self-service. They will go after what they want and what they feel is genuine, and what they also feel they can support, and what they can also realistically execute. Open source is their world, because guess what? That's all OpenShift and OpenStack, et cetera. The community is a community of developers, from technical partners to academia, across all venues. So that is an area that they like to play. So they like access to that from that perspective. A business unit person, if you're a marketing person, you've got a business problem to solve, don't you? How do you get that? How do you be more competitive out there? Marriott's doing this. I am now Hilton. How am I going to compete with that new rewards program, et cetera, and be even a disruptor in that area? So your need is a little bit different than that of the developer that it's going to execute a solution that addresses that need. So it is two different business conversations, if you would, but they really can be tied to obviously the same business objective. And what we want to do is make sure, how do you underpin that with a Red Hat solution that, oh, by the way, we can then help you disrupt your area by being able to provide you with the tools and the access to the resources to be able to do something different that's not being done already.
Very insightful. Thank you. I'll let you go with the rest of the flow, but this is very interesting.
Oh, no problem. So here we are. This is how we got there, but where did we go? This is where we went. Wow. And I'll tell you what, if I was Ginny Rometty, I would be so happy to see this, right? 64 quarters of continuous revenue growth. And again, this is not to like bang my chest of, look at what we've done, as much as this is, look what the community has done. Look at what open source has done. This is a validation of this open source way. This is a validation of everyone collaborating, being flexible, being adaptable. This speaks for itself, because this is really what speaks for the community. And believe me, that's the one piece I love about Red Hat. I might be the customer success evangelist, but I'm really just a mouthpiece for so many successful, smart, intelligent, collaborative individuals that are really out there putting together these business processes and executing them in line in an open decision framework that pays off to our customers as well as to the community. It's expanding. And this is that other slide that you had talked about, and also why we are adapting. If I showed this to you 10 years ago, of course, that navy blue piece, infrastructure related subscriptions, that's that Red Hat Enterprise, Linux, Satellite, etc. That would have been the majority of this pie chart. But we have a huge opportunity here. We have application development related and emerging technology subscriptions growing exponentially. It's where our biggest growth part is as well. And it's also why our customer success team has adapted to this growth. We've really had to come up to speed with what are the customers that are consuming these emerging technologies? What are their business needs? We can't keep having the same conversations that are aligned more to an infrastructure related conversation. We need to really start talking to, not just to your point, the developers, but also to the business unit teams that are trying to solve these business problems and might not have that geek influence to understand what would open source bring to the table. They need to understand, for them, how can they get a competitive solution to their problem that could help before they are disrupted, i.e. everyone uses Uber, etc. But you know what? That's what people look at. Like, they might not want to be the next Uber, but they also don't want to be the lagger behind the next Uber. And that's what we try to really help to facilitate from that perspective.
I think that's very interesting. So you're straight away working with business, helping them create a direct competitive advantage. So does that also mean that every customer is sort of has a different definition of success altogether?
Yes and no. I think we talked about this earlier, where they all come in to solve this one business problem. And again, I hate that digital transformation, disruption, the buzzword. But guess what? It does put the fear of God into you if you are Hilton and part of your market share is going to Airbnb. Or if you're somewhere else and you can't believe that a startup has come in and started eating your lunch, right? So nobody wants to see that happen. However, you have to ask yourself, what part of this disruption can I leverage this technology to help me? How can I leverage the cloud to help my business processes? Maybe it's just internally streamlining them. Maybe it's externally in how we deal with our customers, et cetera, et cetera. But we all know there's companies that are leveraging it to be more agile, driving down costs and driving up efficiencies. And that's really what we're trying to do, is we're really trying to make access from the open source world, those type of solutions that can be something that they can validate and utilize within their own companies. Because again, we come from that world where in the beginning they said, oh, they're not secure. Oh, they're not stable. Well, guess what? Look at this. We got 100% of airlines using it, telcos, healthcare companies, banks. The most risk adverse are actually our biggest customers. Because you know what? They know that we button up, and we know that we have a secure platform and a stable platform for them. And we are very cost effective in running those platforms, number one. But two, we give them the ability that if they want to do more mobile applications and other type of initiatives, they have a great partner in us to do that. So I'll tell you what, let me pause here. Any questions just around this unicorn Red Hat that I'm sharing with you today and what the company is? Because my next piece is really diving around what that open source community is, which, oh, by the Red Hat doesn't own. So let me just pause there around the Red Hat piece.
So just one quick one there. So when you say that you've got all these great names, including banks, who are your biggest customers, when you say they're your customers, they're of course using the open source technology, but what do they pay you for?
Great question. They pay us for the subscription, and that's really just the subscription to support it. And I'll tell you what, you know what? I will dive deeper on that when I go around what our subscription is.
Got it.
But you're right. I agree with you. I'd be scratching my head. Wait a minute, Hope. A couple slides earlier, you said you gave away the software. How you guys making any money? How'd you get that $2 billion? All right, we will get into that. I promise you. But the first stop, I want you to understand, what is this open source? She kept spouting out this open source term. What the heck does that even mean? So really, at a certain point, Red Hat takes a snapshot of our core projects. And again, that's this community. We select the features and functions of those projects that make sense and bring them internally, meaning to Red Hat, for development, integration, hardware and software support, looking into compatibility issues, etc. So again, we don't own the community. We have access to the community. We are the piece that brings these projects up to fruition. We support them, we develop them so that they can be used by a city group, or you just name the bank. But if you were a bank, would you want to go right to that community? Not if you didn't feel it had the support, the hardware certification and all of that, right? We put it through a rigorous quality testing cycle, and then we release it as an enterprise product. That's only when it becomes into that solution, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, OpenStack, etc. Prior to that, it's just a project in the community. But you know what? Our number one focus is on stability, and that is what Linux has become known for. Because if we can't provide our customers with a stable platform so that they can do their business functions, then it's not good for anyone, right? It won't be good for our customers, nor will it be good for Red Hat. We didn't get to be $2 billion if we had stability issues. The other piece we do is we're kind of a unicorn in how we deal even with once we stabilize our technology, because we usually delay new features into the next major release to avoid breaking anything that customers could currently have in production. We're not about breaking things, people. We really are not, which is why the geeks love us. The same applies to bug fixes. They could prove to be a little bit too risky and complex to address in the current stream, so we wait for the next one. We don't charge our customers for the next release, so because of that, we don't have to release often to earn money. It's a big difference. See, imagine if you were that developer and you could create and develop as you wanted for a stability purpose. This is the way developers do things. Business people charge. That's the difference. So it's an interesting backwards. It's really design thinking. Puneet, you came from IBM with design thinking. It really is that, right? What do you want your customers to do? Have to buy another one just because you updated it? No, you want what they have stable. The next iteration will come up. It's up to your customer to upgrade. They don't have to pay for it. It's free. Right?
No, and I think you've touched upon a very critical part here, that for a technology platform which the community, which is owned by the community, run by the community, is continuously evolved and innovated by the community. And but at the same time, while you are releasing the enterprise version, it's your responsibility as to maintain that stability and make sure that those things are met. Where do you think is the role of customer success in sort of so do you help prioritize defects? Do you help prioritize, okay, these should be the release dates? Do you help evangelize about, okay, Mr. Customer, I know you've not you've not upgraded for the last X versions, but this is the one that you should upgrade because of XYZ. Where do you come in?
Great question. Great question. So as it relates to this piece, right? Upgrades, et cetera. As a customer success manager, what our team does is they drive the roadmap conversation, right? And they do that in line with their solution architect, but they drive what the roadmap is. B, they know that customer. They know where that customer sits in their ability to want to upgrade often or their ability to want to mitigate risk. And what they do is they suggest, do you want to be part of the beta? Some companies do. It gives them that opportunity to participate more deeper with the community on that specific solution. Other companies don't. It's up to the customer success manager to understand, is your customer one of those where if you said, would you like to participate in the beta, they would be the first name on the list, or they wouldn't even be interested. So it's something that we do drive with them. We also drive stats with them around the bugs, but we really try to avoid those support related issues because we're really trying to drive to them more of the other business objective issues. It's all going to be what the needs are of the customer, which dictates how detailed our CSMs would go in that support. Let's put it that way. Some want to know the bugs. Honestly, our customer portal has that because we have a customer dashboard, so we can drive that out easily to them, and the customers have the self-service to see that. But to your point, not all customers, because they might own all of our technologies, it gets to be a little complex. Like, where are we with middleware? Where are we with this? So a CSM might get engaged there and say, you know what? You need to be more aware of this, especially as it concerns these specific technologies. So again, I hate to say it, the customer will dictate that engagement, but it's usually based on the product mix that the customer has, the type of customer that they are, right? And this customer success manager knowing that audience. That's really vital.
Got it. Helpful. Thank you.
Because, even to build on that, our customer success managers are integrated in with products and technologies. And what we can do is, because our product and engineering team go to great lengths to try and introduce as little risk as possible, this gives the customers the opportunity to validate through the CSM, is this worth us to go to this next edition? We support it for 10 years, for God's sakes. It's not like they have to do it tomorrow. However, the customer can say to us, hey, I don't want to hear it from you, Hope Customer Success Evangelist. What's the community say? And that's where our customer success team has that opportunity to come back and say, A, stability is a main concern for this customer. B, should they move forward with this? And that's where we can validate those type of requests. Does that help from that example?
Yes, very much indeed. Thank you. It's like, because it could be tricky if you are in an open source, you have to manage community, customers. Very nice.
It is. It's fascinating because look at this slide here too. Like, see that millions of projects? Our customers are in there too. They're part of the community. So this is where the aspects of the product development model, if you would, it really drills into how this happens. The participation of the community, creating those upstream projects, then we integrate them upstream, making them into more open community platforms. And those little red circles, that's Red Hat. That's where we commercialize them and stabilize them. So it comes in with a rich ecosystem of services and certifications. It's only those red circles that we can now charge our customers to pay for that subscription. The projects they can get access to as well. They don't know if it'll run on hardware. They don't know what it will do because it has not been through that rigorous quality control, and it's not enterprise grade ready, if you would, from that perspective. But you know, this all comes back to this culture, which is the heart of this power of the open source community. It requires collaboration and transparency. With that, the benefits are vast. We have not been able to create the solutions we've had without the great examples of the collaboration of the projects before us. OpenStack, that was between Rackspace, NASA, and other people within the community. That's now an OpenStack solution. SE Linux was a project with National Security Agency, Red Hat, and others. And Linux itself was an open developed project by one person, but it was made successful by many, many people. So what happens is the tools and techniques that work well become standards, and the standards promote greater efficiency and faster development. Standard IPAs mean it's easier to make components work together, and that's definitely what the community works for in this capacity. The standard tools and the repositories mean even more people can help make the project better. An example of that is GitHub. That's another type of open source community. But here's where our customers see the value. It's rapid innovation. This is why we have grown 64 quarters, right? Open source is behind today's technology leaps. All the things that make that digital transformation, again, that buzzword that drives me insane, but really it makes it possible. Infrastructure changed from mainframes to x86 commodity market, which gave birth to the Linux servers. Boom, that's the first piece. Cloud innovation, that sprung from Linux too. The cloud underneath is Linux. Applications are moving from monolithic single-use tools to the reusable, flexible microservices, containers, and mobile. Again, came out of the community. Networking and storage move from proprietary physical components to software-defined and software-based tools that can be shared much more easily. Our customers, our employees, they want more modern applications, connectivity, and control. So these demands for efficiency, agility, innovation require organizations to look to new technologies and areas like cloud, mobile, and as we see springing up all over the place, as a service, right? As a service is everywhere now. That's come out of this as well. But that's really the end result of open source is our value prop to our customers is rapid innovation. Now, if we pull that into customer success perspective, what does that mean, Puneet? For us, what that means is a customer success manager in an open source organization such as Red Hat better understands not just what the business outcomes are now, right? So now you're saying, okay, we want to save money by going off and going into an as a service or doing this cloud. But you know what? There's a vision, isn't there? There's a bigger vision, and we really try to tap into that because guess what? That saving money is a commodity type of value prop. Anyone can say that they save you money, can't they?
Yes.
What we want to do is, what is your vision? How can we help you to achieve that vision? So what we challenge our customer success managers is that when you're validating that business outcome, say, with the VP of development, do your research to understand what is the overall vision of the company. Because that's what you need to tap into, is what is that company really going to do? Because we could be one piece within a huge business objective, overarching business objective in that company, especially large organizations. If we don't tap into that vision, then we're lost. We're just another commoditized business objective that's saving money and making us more agile, right? but what does business transformation mean to your customer? And that's what we try to get to the heart of. It's not always easy, I can tell you that. We've been going through, as we've adjusted our customer success approach, we've been going through this iteration to really have those higher level conversations. And it's not always easy. And sometimes we even drive back, how would you like to do X, Y, Z? We try to set a vision, knowing what others have done, and also knowing what using this innovative approach could do. So it's kind of that more of push and pull, engaging them in that conversation, but giving them the platform to understand what they can do.
Brilliant. And I think given the scope that you have with so many offerings, from hardware to middleware to applications, I think there is a huge potential once you tap into that vision. Your success managers can actively encourage your customers, because a customer can come in from any one of those angles. But once the vision is aligned with Red Hat, then I think there is a huge scope that sort of opens up for the success manager to sort of show them the stuff that they might not be using yet.
And you know, Puneet, it even goes to the point of, this is not going to be every customer. Some customers use us just for to stabilize their infrastructure. They might just, it's just, we are a point in their overall strategy, but it's not being used as the way it really could, right? So we have to, again, it goes back to our CSMs need to listen deep to that customer. Are they going to be pushing the envelope, or are they not? You know, we have GE that wants to push the envelope. We have other companies that do not. You got two different types of customers. Neither of them are wrong, but we offer two different approaches to them. It could just be checking a box approach, or it could be, how do we really achieve this vision of being transformative, right? And we want to be part of that. So, you know, thankfully, because we've been around for 25 years, it used to be we were only known for that innovative approach. And now, at least with the 25 years of street cred behind us and stabilization, you know, we can now also check the box, but we can do a lot more than check the box. And really, we feel as though open success is about that, isn't it? It's really about opening up that scope and understanding, wow, how can I achieve that level, not just checking the box?
Awesome. No, very well said. Very well said. I like the
And
two
see,
clear
this
definitions.
gives you an example. Look at this. There's the community, right? The 1 million projects. Out of it came the project called Fedora. Well, that's now Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And out of it came RDO, that's OpenStack, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this just gives you an idea of how the community has built out these projects. These projects have been stabilized by Red Hat. Red Hat now offers a subscription for the support, the maintenance, et cetera, of Red Hat Mobile, Red Hat OpenShift, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The project still exists, though. They're still there.
Excellent.
So let me stop, because the next piece is the open success piece. And I see we only got about 15 minutes left, and I want to make sure we have enough time for that. Any questions around this whole open source approach, which I recognize is a much different approach? Believe me, I was at Oracle before in sales. I was at SAS in sales, which they have a subscription model too, but different. And I was at IBM prior to Red Hat. So yeah, my cheese was moved all over the place when I first came to Red Hat. And it's been great to adapt within this open structure.
So one thing, you know, that has become more and more clear to me is, if I'm one of the open source if I'm the consumer of an open source technology space, I don't have to pay you. I can still get all the tech. While I can do that, so that means for you to come in and help me, your bar has to be really, really high to come in and say, hey, we are going to come in and not just give you a simple support, but what we're going to come in as a customer success is we're going to help you transform, get you that competitive advantage. Otherwise, just for the tech is available anyway. That you've already given it for free.
Exactly. You are so perfect because you're leading into the next session where I have that outline, which, you know what? Okay. We talked about what is open source, et cetera, but what is this crazy open success? My Lord. Customer success is vital to open source organizations as we compete with other free offerings, as you noted, right? They can go download it tomorrow. Oracle supports Linux. We have competitors that even to offer support as well. But you know what? We're different. We need the customer's engagement in developing our model, as our customers are not just customers, but contributors to the community. So we encourage them to participate. We encourage our customers to participate in the community. This can take on many different flavors, such as participation in beta releases, for example. They provide feedback on product solutions and even share in their business challenges as we strive to find a successful solution. So maybe they came in saying we need the solution for a cloud solution, but we're now taking them to another level because we can transform whatever it is that they wanted to solve by bringing it up into something else that can be a little bit more innovative. So we participate with them from that perspective. Integrate. How our customers use and execute our solutions can bring back a wealth of information that we can integrate into future versions. So having that active customer that is engaged and integrates with our team, participates on our monthly touch points with the CSMs, that's vital for our short-term success, but it's also vital for that investment into the long-term innovations. And they like that. We've had customers that have been with us for the 20 years. They know that they're participating. They even know our engineers by name. But it even goes back to stabilizing. No one likes bugs. No one likes issues. They don't want anything to hinder their ability to execute these technologies. So working together, we can mitigate the risks, stabilize the solutions, and help it be secure and drive the business value, even as they augment the solution for their specific business need. We take the same approach to open source development as we do to our customer success. We're all in it together. So with that, let me go to this slide because I think this is something we talked about earlier. This is what our customers get when they buy a Red Hat subscription. I'll go into that more in the next slide too. This is where we are kind of a unicorn. As I've gone to notice, we're unique in customer success organizations because we're not positioned in sales. We don't even report up through sales. We are separate from sales, which has its own challenges. Don't get me wrong. However, again, because our goal is to really help our customers envision that technology vision and really help to be that disruptor using technology, right? We are directly aligned with the product and technology team that interfaces with the community. This is huge. This enables us to have full access to the open source community as CSMs. And our customer success managers will advocate on behalf of our customers, seeking the best solutions to their problems directly back to the product and technology team. They're part of it, as you see. So they sit alongside support delivery, engineering. You see it. We've got our world-class customer portal, all of that. But we all fall within the same organization. We all have the same direct influence and impact on the roadmap and the evolution of these products through our customers. That is our secret sauce.
Brilliant. And I hope, something that is jumping out right now is, so while we engage with so many customer success leaders, coming from all walks of life, mostly for-profit organizations, where the sales will sell the platform, the technology, which is the product, so that they will sell the technology. Then customer success will come in to make sure that the technology can translate into value for the customers. But what is just hitting me is, in case of Red Hat, the technology is available for free. So customer success is the product.
It is. Yep, it is.
And
This subscription is the product. We wouldn't exist without, this is what IBM bought. Shh. Shh. Us. But it's true. You're absolutely right. This is what differentiates us. We don't have CSMs that are on comp plans that make them sell. We're not sellers. We're driving the value of Red Hat. We're driving the business objectives. We're speaking in their terms. We're understanding what they're trying to fix, and we're getting them access to the cutting edge, innovative solutions to be able to do that. It's real simple.
So walk us through, what is in that red box. How does that customer success organization looks like, which is in a way itself a product? What does it take to build that product where customer success can be sold as a standalone?
Well, it's funny because you know what? Earlier when you asked me about like how you've evolved, remember I said this support relationship manager? We started out just with a team in global customer success. Obviously, I'm there, and there's like our directors and whatnot, and there's operations and there's enablement, et cetera, et cetera. But the customer-facing roles. You had the support relationship manager. Now we have the customer success manager. But we also have always had a technical account manager. They're the technical advocate for the customer. That is actually a paid resource. Because remember, everything's free. So we don't give them a free tech TAM, where I know other companies do. So companies that really recognize they have a complex environment, it's really sophisticated, they need an advocate, a technical advocate to really help them with that direct interlock into engineering. They will pay for a technical account manager. But I can tell you this, our technical account managers are freaking technical. They are just, sometimes you might get enough out of them as you might from one of our engineers. They're sophisticated. So they get a lot of value from that subscription. So that's another piece of a subscription. Another piece we have is a cloud success architect, because as we discussed, now we were selling into the infrastructure team, which is the directors or the architect teams. And they can be fairly sophisticated, but it's usually a tactical approach. When we're now going into the development world, we needed another level of somebody coming in with a little bit more cloud experience. Again, this is not something that they pay for. This comes from at least the initial onboarding part. A customer success manager works with a cloud success architect and helps the customer really understand how they're going to be positioning the cloud in their environment. Because the last thing we want to do is, here's your subscription, here's your link, good luck. So to that point, we have had to evolve our offerings, our subscription offerings, as our products have become more sophisticated and as our products have also engaged other people within the enterprise. Our customers have been the people that have brought that feedback back to us and said, we need a little bit more help than hope. Bless them. But it's true. They have come back. And again, open success. Thank you for that insight, customer. Now we've piloted that actually through last year. Now any type of OpenShift engagement will have those type of resources. But to your point, our global customer success team, yes, we have the basic customer success managers. They are more of the advocate of the customers, not highly technical, obviously technical enough to understand what an open source organization is and what our product offerings are. But their superpower is the virtual account team they have behind them. Let me go get my cloud expert. Let me go get my middleware expert. Customer, I'm going to get you the people you need. They're the conduit to that. The technical account manager, again, as a paid subscription, is that technical advocate that is the direct link into product and technologies. So to your point, we're continuing to grow and morph this global customer success red square here. And we probably by next year will double. We will double. Yes. And I must say, you know what? We've had some customers come back and say, why are we paying for a technical account manager when I don't have to pay for it at XYZ company? Again, I'm not going to tell you how much it is, but it's not as much as it should be. And we get some of the highest net promoter scores around our technical account manager program, to the point where our customers will consume and buy more of those resources. So we're confident that the customers get our model. It's only other companies that try to say, oh, Red Hat versus Microsoft. You're not going to find an apples to apples. It's not how it is. And that's also, as you see, not how we're set up as well. But let me dive in, because oh my gosh, you know what? We're really getting short here. This is a depiction of how, from that open source community perspective, we all have to work together. And this really just depicts that. But I really want to get to is this type of piece. And this is really, what is our subscription model? This slide shows the major components of the model, which is, again, access to that technology, assurance that it's going to work, and the expertise within Red Hat to bring that to fruition. We were one of the first companies to establish subscriptions as a viable software business model. So subscriptions are more in line today with today's consumption models that you see normally. But this has been in place for more than 10 years. This is more aligned to how simple it can be for our customers from the perspective of this. Our customers are usually thinking in terms of licensing and maintenance contracts. Proprietary models require them to purchase that one-time license. I remember this, selling it at Oracle, that entitles them to run the software, right? They then purchase an annual maintenance contract to provide services and support. Red Hat, customers have to think a little differently. Open source software is licensed under an open source license model called GNU Public License. So we don't impose any license costs. There are none. So they start with that. I wasn't lying, software is free. However, our subscription is similar to an annual maintenance contract, except that we structure it to be fully inclusive in a way that maintenance contracts never are. The subscription pays for the engineering, development, testing of the product, right? Mm-hmm. That's what you're getting, and that's what Red Hat does. It pays for all the co-development that Red Hat does with partners, including the certifications on all the hardware, all those other providers that you have out there. We make sure that they all work in concert. It also includes updates, upgrades, security patches, access to the Red Hat customer portal, which has our knowledge base, open, transparent, right there. You can ping the community. You can ask whatever you want. Once a customer has purchased the subscription, they have nothing else to pay for. That's it. So imagine that. So here you go. You bought it. A sales rep's not going to come and say, oh, will you upgrade to the next version? It's there. Get it if you want it. So it's so different than many of the other traditional models. We receive no revenue boost after shipping a new version of a product. The right to use it is included with every subscription. So a new version is not a revenue event for Red Hat.
Got it.
It's different from that. We also, our Red Hat engineering does not need to produce a new version with a few new features. So we've had people waiting saying, you haven't released something in 18 months. That's because we haven't caught up with the amount of features we need to release it. So we don't have to force our customers to upgrade it. So see, a CSM, we won't be bringing that up. What we will be bringing up is, how do you feel about the stability of the product? We might share with them the roadmap once a year. We don't have to do it every quarter because we're not closing business using a roadmap. What we're doing is making sure the customer's getting what they need out of the solution. It's a different conversation from that perspective.
Got it. Got it.
And here, this is how we compete against other subscriptions. So our model, as we know, this is what is a key differentiator for us. It's also the customer experience as they use our subscription. especially as customers look to this next generation software or architecture. You know, you could be a little averse to go onto a Linux system, but you know what? We offer a true partnership beyond traditional support because this is totally collaborative. Our subscription model was unique a couple years ago. We're now finding more and more of our competitors are coming into this, and they're also adopting a very similar model. However, here's the interesting perspective too. IT departments are looking at their spend and consumption differently as well. So again, our competitors have gotten the message. We're no longer the only ones that offer this type of subscription-based model, but we face other challenges, whether it comes down to that open source community aspect of being able to have access to it, right? That's one thing our competitors can't offer. Plus, being that large contributor to the open source community. So one of the things, Puneet, that our CSMs are now trying to validate with our customers is we have a lot of customers that feel that Oracle can now support Linux. And yeah, I guess they can, but can they do it as robustly as Red Hat? And some companies are making that cost differential and saying, okay, we're going to go to the Oracle, it's 50% cheaper. But it's even a different customer success model, isn't it? Do you think their CSMs are aligned this way? I wager they're not. So it's much different from that. But you know what? Here's the deal. The value of the Red Hat subscription goes well beyond just that support. As you noted, it is the customer success organization, and it's being able to provide that 1+ mentality, that being that advocate. We're not there as an advocate because we have a target on our head that says we better increase, you know, quotas by X amount. That's not what we're there for. We're there to build trust within our customers. We're there to build collaboration with our customers. We're there to continue to drive expansion of Red Hat within their organization. And if they trust us and they realize the value of a Red Hat subscription, they will do it. Build it and they will come, right? And I know we're at the top of the hour. Do you want us to keep going?
Yeah, sure. Let's finish the deck and go through the entire success open success model that you have. I'm really glued in right now.
Sure, absolutely. So, as I alluded earlier, customer success is positioned under that engineering team within products and technologies, not within sales. So this allows us to enable our customers access to the community and understand if the issue, question, situation can be addressed via a solution that might not be solved in another industry or a different approach. So really what we do here, as this slide depicts, you know, our customers want access to that rapid iteration, right? Brilliant innovation. This is where our success community comes into play here. We really provide our customers access to that. We really start bringing in some of the common challenges and see, has that been done somewhere else? Because guess what? Anything in the community, remember, part of the open source way is transparency. That's it. So it doesn't matter. If it's out there, that means you can borrow it, right? You can borrow that solution and you can put that in at your location. Somebody else might have tried to do it. We do have many unicorns, don't get me wrong, that say, oh my gosh, we're going to try and do XYZ a different way. And we really try to support that. However, a vast majority, when our customers come to us with a business problem and they look for a solution using Red Hat, when we go back to the community, we find that it has been already tried before. And we can share in that best practice as well. We also refine our software by performing QA and integration tasks, standardizing the interfaces. Our technical account managers, those TAMs I referenced before, again, very technical. They're the technical concierge. They then tend to take back a lot of those type of technical pieces back to the community. So if you're a customer and you come to Red Hat and you already know that the level of Red Hat that you're buying, you are going to really push the envelope. They tend to be the customers that will buy a technical account manager, because that's that technical advocate that will say, I'm going to champion your cause in the community. So we enable our TAMs to do that type of work, where the CSMs are not at that point of that type of integration with the community.
Oh, this is great. This is great. Taking all the best practices of one unicorn where they've already got the learning and then sharing it with the rest of the community. Great.
Yep, and it goes back to the attributes of open: transparency, inclusivity, adaptability, collaboration. That's what we live and die by in customer success too. We all work on a project that has access to all the pertinent materials by default, customers and the virtual account team. All of us, we all have access to it. Nothing is hidden. We use the portal. We have a special place for specific customers that's just for, say, GE, and they have access to it. We have access to it. We all collaborate on it. Inclusivity. We recognize that not everybody shows up on the calls that should be there. We recognize just because certain people have access to the portal, there's other people there within an organization. Their voices need to be heard. That tends to be the business unit people, the VPs of marketing, the managers of HR, etc. They're not going to use the portal. However, they want their vision to be known. We make sure our CSMs tap into those people that voices are not included, so that we have them as part of this open success organization. We also have feedback mechanisms. And this is above and beyond Net Promoter Score. We have a closed loop feedback session where we better understand, after every support engagement, did we meet their needs and was the community of value to them? Yes, no, we know really quick, and we can better understand. We can also identify new customers to Red Hat that might be struggling with this model. Because think about it, if you are now using Microsoft and now you're at Red Hat, oh my God, these people are crazy, right? How do I engage with them? We want to make sure you understand how that is. So when we see people struggling with engaging in our model, we reach out to them and we really make sure that we bring them into the fold. That's another piece. Collaboration. Again, the customer success manager is just that advocate for the customer. However, it takes the sales team, it takes support, it takes engineering, it takes the Red Hat open source village. And we have that virtual account team that works hand in hand to make sure that we are collaborating together. What the customer sees is a seamless journey using Red Hat, not services here, support here, engineering here. To them, we want it to be a seamless journey. So they see that we are the conduit to that virtual account team. We are shepherding their business goals. We align to drive resources to deliver. We validate often what our customers are trying to accomplish, and we really try to make sure that we are addressing their business needs. This is the key attributes of an open source, open success organization. Any questions?
No, this is good. This is good. I'm loving this.
Now, this is an example, because I don't want to steal everyone's time. We're 9 minutes over, but I wanted to give you an example. Here's a customer success manager. They are managing finance informatique. They work with this virtual account team to align the proper resources to help finance informatique to implement a rules-based management system. However, the interesting thing we got from the feedback from Andreas was everybody else just threw a solution at us. This will fix it. This will fix it. We knew we had complex problems, or we had a really problematic system with all the different business processes. We realized we needed more than somebody saying, oh, we'll start with this and fix it. We needed a partner to collaborate. We needed somebody to come up with a solution with us. And that's what we did. We worked with them to better understand exactly what they were trying to accomplish. We put together an approach with our virtual account team. And really, Andreas was ecstatic because they had access to the entire Red Hat team through their CSM. They said they've never had that approach ever before. Their CSM was almost kind of like a gatekeeper. And their CSM and other competitors were just trying to sell them more. So it was much different approach where the CSM was the conduit to getting them to more of these collaborative resources that said, let's take a look at that. Let's see if we can solve that in a different way. And we did. So this is a little simplistic in itself, but I thought it would be helpful because the sentiment we got from this account was just how the experience was so vastly different, and they've worked with other customer success organizations before. And they kept saying, I felt like I was just in another extension of sales. I felt like you were a partner to us. And I think that goes back to that open, collaborative, let's work and fix the problem for you. Even though, I'll be honest, none of our CSMs have the answers, right? We're just the advocate. We're just the ones that find the solution, that really help them. We find the helpers. Mr. Rogers said, there are helpers. We find the helpers. And that's really our approach.
No, I think, yes, that's one, that last thing that you said, and this was a fantastic example where the customer success manager, as long as they understand what the problem is, they've been listening in, they're tuned in, then they don't have to solve, they have to find the solution. And if I'm a customer success manager at Red Hat, then I've got, you said 12,000 plus the unlimited
community. Yes.
Behind me. There is no reason why I cannot solve Andrea's problem. If I'm listening in, if I'm tuned in, if I'm the partner. So I think this is a great way to sort of come to the core role, which is so central to a customer success manager. A lot of times, we've seen organizations look for customer success managers who want to solve it, but I think it's very finding the solution versus solving the solution, which can, especially in a more complex environment, such as the amount of the number of solutions that you guys provide, you will always be hunting for solutions. Great.
Exactly. And you know what? If you're a customer, think about it from their perspective. I would never believe that a CSM has the solution. I came from a sales background. I never wanted to come off as being a sales rep that knew I had all the answers. Because you know what? That means you're selling them something. Don't you feel that way?
Yes.
Somebody's selling you something that they can solve that answer just listening to you for 5 minutes. And you've been dealing with this problem for how many weeks, months, years?
Yeah.
Come on, They're smarter people. I know they're smarter people than me. So I just find them. I find those helpers.
Yes,
and that's what our team strives to do. And I guess we're lucky in a weird way. We're lucky because we're in products and technology versus no one's saying, sell them something. You know what I mean? It's not going to be solved by selling them more. Probably will, right? But at the end of the day, the customer doesn't want to hear that. They want a solution that means you listen to what their challenge is, and you've actually taken the time to kind of research it and say, oh, maybe if we did this.
Yep.
Boom,
or let me go get an expert. Let me raise a support ticket for you. Let me bring in the technical account manager. Let me bring a solution architect, and let's collide. I'm going to make it happen. I'll be the orchestrator. And yes, that's one thing that I've seen wherever success managers have taken that approach of being that true partner. It is always eventually, even if you are not an open source, even if you are a for-profit where you're selling technology, the product will sell itself rather than you trying to solve it in 5 minutes, like you said. Yes, with you on that.
You know what? Everyone wants a concierge, right? Everyone wants a concierge. And companies, Red Hat's not even as big as IBM. I spent 10 years at IBM. I would have loved to have a concierge at IBM, even as an employee. It's 400,000 people, right?
Yes.
I needed a concierge as an IBMer, let alone as a customer. So I feel as though there's a certain value in providing that ability for our customers to find the right resources, to find the right people to even present this type of challenge to. And I think our customers more and more need that. That's a huge value. I'm sure we can quantify this all day long. You'll notice there was really no quantification on here, right?
Yep.
I did that on purpose too, because I think you need to build that trust. Andreas is going to come back to us. This actually wasn't a really big deal. It really wasn't. But I tell you what, when the really big deal does happen, Andreas is going to remember that we listened and we came back with a much different approach to really collaborate and solve a business problem. That's what we really want to be known for. And you know, if we can solve a small one, our approach is from this to the bigger ones, it's the same approach. It's going back and validating and collaborating and being transparent, and the best solution surfaces. That's the other thing that Red Hat's known for, is meritocracy. May the best solution surface, and that can come from anywhere. A partner. We've actually had even IBM surface some of the best solutions when we were implementing storage solutions, etc. Hey, if you've got the best solution, plus, that's a win for the customer. So meritocracy is valid and it's alive at Red Hat, and we don't care where that great idea comes from, whether it's a Red Hat person, a community person, a finance informatique. By collaborating, we surface and we're more innovative from that collaboration. It's always a plus.
Good. No, this is great stuff. This is great stuff. And was you have more, or was this?
You know what? I'm just going to close with, these are some of our customers that we have around the world. We've now grown to a point where we're taking on the Verizons and the Adobes, etc. This is our industries that we're in. So again, further validation of us being able to implement this. And I'm just going to pause and take any questions and apologize again for running 17 minutes over. Sorry.
No, that's, I think, thank you so much, Hope, for putting together this wonderful deck and sort of giving us this time to share your experience and share the open success framework that you've just shared. I could have never thought that customer success can be the product. And you know, so many light bulbs were switching on as you were presenting and sharing your experience there. And thank you very much to the listeners who are still around, and I know some of you.
Puneet, if I might interrupt you real quick.
Please.
Anybody still listening, please connect to me on LinkedIn. I was not kidding when I said open success is also outside of Red Hat too. I'm outside of New York City. I do a networking group where we meet with a bunch of people in other organizations and we talk through some of these challenges. And I learn from them and they learn from me. So I totally welcome. Connect to me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm the only Hope Blaythorne on LinkedIn. So I please advise you, connect if you have questions, you want to be part of that informal networking. You are part of our open success too, because that's the only way we're all going to get better in this growing discipline, if you would. But thank you. And thank you, Puneet. I appreciate it very much.
Lovely. And Shivam on the comments said that he has already sent you a connect request. So there you go. You were definitely easy to find, being the only Hope Blaythorne on the LinkedIn. And for the rest of you, we will send the LinkedIn LinkedIn link, linking you back to Hope's LinkedIn account, along with the webinar recording that you're going to send out. So just in case, Anil wants to thank you. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening in, and thank you again, Hope. And whenever we are in New York, Hope, let's do this. Either we will do a group together, and maybe some of you are listening in from New York should look out for that announcement. Hopefully sometime next year, and let's do a face-to-face as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye, Hope. Cheers.
Bye.